Hey there, this is Dirt Thurston. We're going to be going over my salsa recipe today. First things we want to do is we want to get our vegetables out. Everything that we need is right here. Walla Walla sweet onions. Probably I'll use maybe 1.5 since these are kind of small. I use bell peppers, one large green and then 2 smaller ones. I like to get yellow and orange. Mainly just for the not only the flavor but for the color that it'll add to the salsa. Then I use Roma tomatoes. The reason I choose Roma is they're the least juicy out of all the tomatoes, so you won't have to be dealing with as much water and tomato juice. And we'll use about 10 since some of these are pretty small. They're about this size. We'll do about 10, but I'll use all of these. We'll also have our fresh cilantro as well, and then limes. I'll probably only use about maybe 2.5 to 3 limes, and I'll show you how we use all these. What we'll be using for dicing our salsa is this is the Pro Chopper Plus. You can get this off of Amazon for about $24. You can see it has this tri-blade here, and I'll show you. This is just what I found just to be super quick and super easy. Gets the salsa chopped up really super nice. And then we'll show you a couple of our key ingredients or secret ingredients that we'll have. So next thing that we're going to do is we're going to prepare all of our vegetables. Alright, so we got all of our food prep done now. What we've done is I've cut the tops off of all the tomatoes and quartered them. I've kind of just chopped up the onion into more manageable pieces. And again, I like to use the sweet onions for this, definitely the Walla Walla sweet onions. And I've cut the tops off all the bell peppers. Cut out all the seeds in the membrane and then just cut them into these more just little manageable slices. And I've quartered all the limes, and we'll show you how we use each quarter of these limes. And then I'll show you what I do with the cilantro. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Pro Chopper Plus, and I'm going to just take a couple of the chunks of onion, throw them in there with couple of the slices of the bell pepper, a couple of my quarters of tomatoes. Don't want to make this too full. Then I'm going to take a couple of stalks of cilantro and just kind of break them up a little bit. Don't want to use, so maybe just like 1 to 2 stalks per little bowl here, and I use the whole stalk here. Then I'm going to take one of my quarters of lime, and I'm just going to squeeze that. All over there. Now with this, you simply just put this on top, and I'm just going to crank the handle probably about 10 or 12 times, and you'll see once we start spinning the handle, it'll start chopping all this stuff up. Alright, that's pretty much all I'll do for that. So I open the lid, and there you see, now we've got this all diced up really nice. And I'm just going to put this here. Into my bowl. And you can see how with those yellow and green and orange peppers, how it really brings a lot of color to the salsa. So put my blade back in, and I'm just going to repeat the process again. Throw in a few more onions, a couple of the bell pepper slices, a few of my tomatoes, just a little bit of cilantro, just kind of break it up a little bit. Take a lime wedge, and dice it up again. And I'm going to repeat that for all of this. So once I get this all done, we'll continue on to the next process. Alright, so now here we have all of our salsa ingredients chopped up nice. Now while this alone does taste very good, there's a couple of more things that I like to add that I consider my secret ingredient. So let's go over those. Alright, the first one I like to do is I just add a little bit of salt, probably just about a little less than maybe a tablespoon, and I'll show you that in a moment. The other secret ingredient is we're going to add a large can, this is just a 29 ounce or 30 ounce can of tomato sauce. And the tomato sauce is going to do a couple things. One, it's going to add a lot more volume to our salsa. But it's going to make that salsa stay really nice and thick and chunky. You're not going to have real runny, saucy salsa. It's going to be really thick, and it's going to give a really nice color to it as well. You won't be able to taste the tomato sauce at all. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add just some crushed red pepper, the type that you normally put on pizza. The reason why I use this is how I'm going to regulate the heat of how I want the salsa. When I started out making this, I used jalapeno. And the thing with jalapeno is sometimes I'd use 2 jalapenos and it was way too hot. The next time I'd use 4 jalapenos and it wasn't even hot enough. So I can never get a consistent heat temperature rating or Scoville temperature rating that I wanted with my salsa. It was always kind of a gamble whenever I use the jalapenos, and not really a pepper guy anyways, and I think the bell peppers just add the perfect amount of taste. And so I'm going to start out with maybe just a tablespoon of crushed red pepper. You really don't need a lot, and once you get it mixed in really nice, then and let it sit, and all of these ingredients soak together, you're going to turn out with a really nice salsa. So let's go through and do each one of these ingredients. So with the salt, like I said, I'm just going to add maybe just a tablespoon or so. So probably just a good little dash like that. And just get this all nice and mixed in. Now with the crushed red pepper, what I like to do is I'll take the lid off, and I'll take just some of the crushed red pepper and just kind of cover the bottom of the lid. And again, you don't need a lot of this crushed red pepper. Even though it looks like a lot of salsa, just a little of that pepper will go a long way into adding heat and just giving you a nice little bite on the aftertaste of that. Just a little nip of heat after you take a good bite of salsa. Okay. So now let's add the tomato sauce. Alright, this is truly what I consider my secret recipe, just because a lot of people don't ever think to add tomato sauce. So if we see one thing, we're adding just a little bit more volume to our salsa, making it go a little bit more. But the big thing is it really is gonna give us just that really nice thick consistency that we're gonna want. And it's gonna turn kind of this pinkish salmon color salsa into a nice rich red salsa. So the presentation adds just a little bit more. So I'm going to continue mixing this up for just a few more seconds, and we'll get back. Okay, we've let the salsa now set for a little bit, and we can see that it's developed this really nice rich red color. Now those colors of the peppers and the cilantro and the onions really comes out and makes it a nice presentation. And adding that secret ingredient, that tomato sauce, gets that nice, real thick consistency. So we can see how we just have this nice, big, thick scoop of salsa that's going to stay on your chips. It's fantastic. Now, a couple things that we can do with this salsa still is we can freeze it. And what I like to use is just the little Tupperware sandwich, little square sandwich Tupperware tubs. That'll be about a perfect serving for a salsa. You can pour this in there, put the lid on the tub, and put it in the freezer. In the winter, you can take it out, open it up, let it thaw out or defrost it. You're gonna have some great salsa. One thing you're gonna notice or know is when you let this sit for a while, all the meat of the sauce is going to kind of settle to the bottom. You're going to get this little thin layer of water that's kind of left over from the little bit of water that's in the tomatoes and the limes. And what I like to do is I'll just take some paper towels, and I'll just take the paper towel and just lay it on top and let it soak up all that water, peel the paper towel off, and then mix it back up just to keep that nice thick consistency of the salsa. But you don't even have to do that. You can just stir it up as well and get this great salsa. So the whole prep mixing time for making this is probably about 15 minutes. So you can have some nice fresh garden salsa in about 15 minutes. That's great for parties, great for just snacking on. It's just really, really, really good fresh salsa. I definitely want to thank my buddy Bobby Crater. He's the one that taught me everything he knows about salsa, and all the tips and tricks I got were from him, including using the Pro Chopper Plus, to adding the tomato sauce, to adding the crushed red pepper for heat. It's all the creation of Bobby. So thank you very much, and hope you enjoy salsa. Absolutely, feel free to add anything you want. Mangoes to make a nice mango salsa. If you want jalapenos, yeah, absolutely go for it. Again, this is Dirt. Thank you very much.